Yeah! Boom, boom. Met a fair dancer down in Southside Birmingham. Boom, boom. Bam, bam, boom, boom. She was running from a fat man selling salvation in his hand. Bam, bam, boom, boom. Now he's trying to save me. Well, I'm doing all right, the best that I can. Dum, 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 dum. Just another fallen angel trying to get it through the night, step by step, one by one, higher and higher, step by step, rung by rung, climbing Jacob's ladder. Hello, guys. So 5150 here, and it is Friday. It is Bar Hopping Friday. There's a party and you gotta know. You got to go bar hopping. Better living in that social world. Got to go bar hopping. Yes, guys, it's been a week, and this morning you might have noticed I was not awake. I was not awake, man. I was just completely out of bed, gave the wrong date, wrong month. And I had to have a couple of subscribers come on and remind me of that. Thank you guys for doing that, clearing it up for me so I could at least change the title if I couldn't save my reputation, which wasn't very good in the first place. We are bar hopping today because we are still on social lockdown. We have to keep our social distance. We can't lean up against people at the bar, bump into them, knock their drinks over, get our drinks from the bartender, and head back to our tables or weave our way back, as it were, even though there might not be any furniture in the way. But that's how bar hopping is. And so for bar hopping, we've got the usual suspects. The Pan Am Silver Corporation, 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce bar, right, from the Northwest Territorial Mint. We talked about them this morning, right? Those guys went under after being involved with Tolvang mining that was put away for embezzlement. Johnson Matthey, 1 ounce bar, serialized. And this is the original serialized 1 ounce bar. And you can still get these, by the way, for about $25 at most of the retailers if they are available to be sold. And of course, this morning we looked at a Stagecoach silver bar, okay? Because they got the silver bars and they've got the fractional silver rounds. And these were the original fractional bars and rounds, which, by the way, these do not work apart with your fingers. You need tools to get these things apart. But once you do, you've got 4 quarter-ounce coins instead of 1 1-ounce coin. And then finally here at the end, we have the newest kid on the block. This is the Asahi 1 ounce bar, serialized, right? And these guys, they basically have taken over for Johnson Matthey because, they don't do that much anymore. And Asahi, they've taken on responsibility, and they've got some rights from Johnson Matthey to do that. So, Johnson Matthey, can you say that? Okay, so bar hopping, all right? But we're not going to bar hop here in modern times because in modern times we can't. But back in the 1840s, we could. And this is the 1840s, so now we're going to bar hop as miners, okay? It's 1840s. And back then, you could drink at work. Can't do that so much today. I mean, I've seen some of you doing it, all right? But you can't drink at work and not get in trouble normally. So, you work in the mine, you go there, you bust your tail in your Levi's every day, and you're just, sweating it out, and you're down there in the dark, dank cave getting a little bit of black lung because there might be some weird deposits within the rock, but you're getting that silver ore out of there. You're working the mine and stuff, you make a little bit of money, but you only make enough money, at the end of the day, to spend it on the things you need and probably a little food and, and if you can save up a little extra, you can have some fun. All right, so in this particular case here, you've been working the mine all day. You found out that there is a hidden deposit in there that nobody would know about. You ran into it by accident, and you need to figure out a way to get to it. But in order to get to it, you have to recruit the help of an established miner, right? An established miner that you meet at this new bar here. By the way, this bar right here, this is the bar that actually, they serve drinks there, right there where you're at. It's the bar as soon as you leave work. It's right outside the gate. After you get your pay, you go outside the gate. And that's that first bar right there. That's the Pan Am bar. It's right there, and you can go ahead and, get a couple of well drinks and stuff. But then later at night, you meet somebody that can help you get that secret deposit out without your employers knowing, and you meet them at a nicer bar. Okay, it's a little bit nicer bar. They've got can girls there. They got somebody playing the piano. There's a couple of bar fights and and a couple of gun shots fired and stuff. It's the 1840s, man. It's rip snorting fun. People don't know how long they're gonna live, and there are a lot of people getting shot for cheating at cards. All right, so that's that bar you go to, and you meet these people, and they're going to show you what you need to do and give you the tools and maybe a little manpower to go in and then hit up your old employer on their claim, for some metal that you saw but they didn't, and then you get busted. And then you need the help of your constituents or your cohorts to get you out of there, all right? And then you end up at a bar where you're going to find yourself some transportation out of town. Stagecoach Silver, for whom you have to get out of Dodge. You got to get out of Dodge now. This is a bar that's on the outskirts of town, and they have a lot of stagecoaches leaving town because these guys are coming to get you for getting with these guys and stealing their stuff. So now you're at this bar. You're figuring out how much it's going to take you to get out of there. You got some silver that you're not supposed to have, but you're like, hey, I got some silver. How much is it going to take me to get out of there? Says, well, they're thinking, like, well, how long is it? What where are you trying to get to? Well, I'm trying to get to, this next town over there. He says, well, that's the trick, isn't it? You got to get past, the people trying to kill you. You got to get past some of the checkpoints and the sheriff's there. So, we got the stagecoach, and it's made the Kessel Run in 15 parsecs. But it's going to cost you. And so you end up paying these guys. Oh, wait a minute. That was Star Wars. And that was on Tatooine. And that was in the Star Wars bar with Cy Snoodles playing with the band. Silver 5150 here. I am completely nuts. It's been a long week. But guess what? You're going to get it. So now you got transportation out of town and you get into the next town, and it's a very nice town. It might be someplace like San Francisco, Sacramento, where they have silver and gold exchange, and you can go ahead and you can get your metal refined, probably get some, put into some kind of account for you, and then have some in your own possession, and then have, some brokers that are going to back you up, and these are the new kids on the block that are going to back you up. So they, of course, have their own town, their own bars, their own hotels and stuff. And so you end up staying there, and you're in the safe house. And that is your bar hopping for the night. Now, see, that wasn't too bad, was it? You went from an employer that treated you poorly and, you barely made enough money to hang on. You found some secret deposits on their claim. They didn't know about it. You told a big shot about it. They snuck you in there, got the stuff out. Then your employers found out, tried to kill you. These guys had to help you get out of Dodge and then get to the big city where you could live large and run for office, because that's what people do when they get too much money. They run for office, become politicians, and ruin everybody's lives. Okay, enough about that. But it's a great segue into my comments about the new stimulus package here in the United States. The Republicans now are talking about having an incentive to work stimulus package where they're going to pay something on the order of $12 extra an hour for people that are working 30 hours or more per week, to stay working and to not be on the government dole or on unemployment. And that's not to say that people are doing it because they want to. A lot of people are doing it because they have no choice. All right. They are out of work and they've been paying into the system, and now it's time for them to collect. But with the boosting of the unemployment system, a lot of people are finding, especially if they're on the lower end of the earnings circuit, they're making way more money in unemployment than they were when they were working. So, these guys, the Republican side, they're trying to incentivize people to come back to work. Even if you make $10 an hour here in the United States, they're talking about another $12 an hour, which turns out to be like $1,920 a month extra income, and that might incentivize a lot of people to come back to work, because the idea is to get the economy moving. Now, stackers, let's be honest. It is to get money velocity moving, or currency velocity moving, because you guys know that the dollar is not really money, but it is the world's reserve currency. And without the dollar moving, whether it's the petrodollar, you saw what happened to oil here a couple of weeks ago, or whether it's just, regular electronic M3 money supply dollars out of the bank, the electronic money out of the bank, that money's not moving because not a lot of people working, and the people that are working are scared poopless about actually spending money. Everybody's trying to save money. Everybody's trying to be good and be cool until they can figure out what the hell's going on with their lives, until they can get back out and be socially, frivolous again and do fun things and spend money and travel and all that stuff. Well, everybody's on lockdown right now, or at least on a shelter in place, or what you want to call mild quarantine. And so, in the end, you sit there and you go, how can they continue promising all these things? And I've talked about this before, where, I told you they were going to promise the moon and the stars. They were going to start having all of these different, what do we call it back then? We called it basic universal income. That's what we stackers call it, because we know it for what it is. It's basic universal income, and it's where the government pays you just to be around. And does that sound familiar? In Alaska, when they first started started mining, well, they first started drilling for oil, they had so much in natural resources there, and there's so few people. They were actually able to pay their people a pretty nice stipend just for being there. That's for people to come there and work, for people to come there and live. And it was more than it is now for just for inflation. But I think now it's about $2,000 a year. It's not very much at all. But I can tell you right now, in most of the world, and governments and banks don't want you to know this, there's enough natural resources and enough energy and stuff out there for most people not to have to work. In fact, nobody would really have to work. You got to have government to a certain degree, not Cadillac government like we have, but probably more like the Toyota government, like we should have here in the United States. But you got to have some of that. You've got to have medical people doing stuff, hospitals and all that, whatever the incentive is for them to do that. Of course, first responders. You got to have the law, because without law, you can have lawlessness, and it's chaos and anarchy, right? Unless it's called for. Okay. And then, you got to have something for the people to do. Now, we got the internet and we have all this stuff, but people are finding out really quick that there's not a whole lot to do, man. You sit there and you watch as much Netflix as you can. You catch up on all your movies. You watch them 2 or 3 times, and you're done with that. Your series is everything. People's hoppers. The hopper. You got hopper. The hoppers are emptying out. They've watched all their shows, binge watched everything, and have knocked back the snacks to prove it. I put on 14 pounds. I got to figure out a way to exercise different and get some of this weight off because the gyms are closed. And so we don't have to actually be engaged the way the government wants us to be engaged. Paying these taxes, working a bunch of jobs that we don't want to work, just trying to get by and stuff. There's actually enough natural resources for people on the whole to not have to work. But that doesn't make sense. It's not good for a society that wants to make progress. So I get it. I understand. Now, that being said, there just needs to be a different way of doing things. I'm not going to get too political with this, but employers need to have the right to be able to hire people and retain people and pay people based on their individual performance. I know individual is a bad word, but it's true. It's true. If you got an employee that's in the same job set, job skill, job responsibility as another employee and they perform better, there should not be a flat pay scale for the bad employees or the less productive employees as the good employees. All right? There should be, fair pay for fair work, which I guess that's what you call that. Regardless, I think we're about done here beating that to death. But I wanted you guys to know that Silver 5150, I am not done stacking. All right. I did not stack anything today. I hope you stacked today. And if you did, please tell me what you got. But I think I'm making a deal here with the broker. I am going to release some of my fractional pandas, AU pandas, gold pandas, because I want to work on getting some, making a nice purchase come next payday. So I'm putting all that together and stuff, and he's helping me with that. Yeah, the broker's a great guy. He's a great guy. Thank you for bar hopping with me tonight. If you're out, somewhere at a friend's house or whatnot, you know what? Look, if you guys trust each other health-wise, tie one on, man. Tie one on, loosen up a little bit, have some fun and stuff. Just run that blender if you're margarita-ing it until it burns up, and and play the tunes and be out there in the backyard by the pool, watch the kids. That, but just, do what you have to do to loosen up, to lighten up. For those of you that are still working, you know exactly where I'm coming from. For those of you that are not working, you know what? It's going to turn around sooner than you think. It's going to turn around sooner than you think. For stackers, I can tell you right now, it is falling apart at the seams, man. Scotiabank, they quit this week in the silver fixing rigging game. Deutsche Bank's been gone for a while. JP Morgan left about a month and a half ago. There's all kinds of events we could point to. The Chase Bank in Canada canceling all of their credit cards and forgiving everybody's credit card debt. A lot of people don't know that. That happened back, I think, in December of 2019. There was that. There are the RICO charges on the silver riggers inside of JP Morgan. There's 6 people from JP Morgan at a trading desk got caught rigging the price of silver, spoofing, selling fake contracts. Well, selling contracts and not actually following through on them, just putting them up for sale, spoofing the market, dropping price down, and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff to keep the price of silver down. I'm going to say this every single day. Silver is the most undervalued asset in the world. Every single time you buy an ounce of silver, you are stealing untold amounts of value out of the old system and transferring it into the new system when they're ready to transfer. You are already in your stagecoach, getting the hell out of Dodge, and you're going to be moving into the big city, moving on up, like the Jeffersons say, in the high rise. because you already have the silver. You already have the vehicle that's going to be the next wealth cycle in that next era. Okay? All right, guys, thanks for joining me tonight again on Bar Hopping. Sunday, we've got something special for you. I'm going to bring on a friend with some good pieces to look at, and we're going to kick off the week with silver winning, okay? So that means you guys need to buy what you can this weekend. We got the pullback. Buy what you can this weekend, okay? Get out there, and then on Monday, we'll sit there and we'll watch silver start to rise into the next quarter of the year, because when the July numbers come out for the second quarter in the United States, the market is going to be in trouble. You saw it was in trouble today. Equities were down, and metals were down as a result too. Let's take advantage of those low metal prices and get ready for the crashing of the market and the system, and having our silver leverage against it and eat up all of that inflation and turn it into good purchasing power. All right, guys, Silver 50 thanking you again, asking you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you feel so inclined, feel so moved. And remember, it is step by step, one by one, day by day. We just stack what we can and get ready for our time. The silver age is coming, and we'll talk to you later.